Welcome back to Exploring Whiskeys. Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Kevin, and this is Corsair's Triple Smoke Single Malt. So, if you haven't figured it out from the little giggle that Mr. Eric had just done, he's had a bad experience with this one, but I'm hoping we go 3 for 3.
I have not touched this in at least 3 years.
Okay, perfect. So, Bib and Tucker. Eric had not a great experience with that, but ended up being much better than he remembered. Yep. The Stranahan Yellow Label.
It wasn't a bad.
But you had thought it was.
I thought it was more of a frontier, like a
and
bullet,
that was a super sweet,
like a Balcones.
Type single malt whiskey. Yeah. So I'm hoping we can go 3 for 3 with the fact that we.
But I also wasn't a Scotch fan.
Right. You now appreciate a little smoky Scotch.
I do.
That is the weird part of this whiskey. So Corsairs, this is a triple smoked single malt where they smoke their barley in 3 different types of wood. And I can't remember exactly what they are, but so a cherry wood, a beechwood, and a peat smoked barley. So it's 3 different types of barley, all smoked differently, put together and done as I think it's a pot still. Yeah, it's a pot still distillation. So it should be pretty scotchy.
So this is another Nashville local.
This is very Nashville.
They started off as doing gins.
They actually started up in Kentucky too.
Right, I do remember that. Started up there. They are actually a stone's throw away from my office in downtown Nashville.
Right.
They got a really good tasting bar, some live music occasionally. Just right down the end of that block is Nelson's Greenbrier.
Right.
So if you're in town, like you can
hit them up. 2 for 1.
Hit both of them right there. Yeah, for a while they had a number of them.
Yeah, at one point they had up to 30 different, and I'm going to say distilled spirits that they produced and marketed and all that kind of stuff. Early 2020, I don't know if it was COVID related or if it was planned. Not sure. But early 2020, they cut everything. They just stopped doing everything. They now do the triple smoke. They do a dark rye. And then they do 2 gins. One aged in a barrel and one not.
Yeah, so that's what like a bespoke gin.
Yeah.
Kind of like New Riff does one, and so does what's the other one? The other distillery.
Rabbit Hole.
Rabbit Hole does one. Yep.
Yeah. They cut down from up to 30 different distilled spirits down to 4.
Yeah, so I did a tasting with one of the representatives from this distillery, and he brought there was not 30. He brought, I want to say, 6 whiskeys and a rum. Yeah. And there was 3 leading up to this, and then 2 after that. Rymageddon was a big one for a while. That's gone.
Yeah, now they have a dark rye, which apparently is delicious.
They had one made with quinoa, which was good, and that may have been what they called a campfire. And there's another one. Like they had a couple that were really, really good. This one for me, and I'll be completely honest with you, I felt like I was back in the day
drinking liquid smoke.
Liquid smoke
is what he told me.
On when your dad would put on the old charcoal grill to add a little flavor talent to the burgers and steaks. But I remember the guy telling me though this competed really well with in the Scotch world. Like this is their number 1 seller.
Right.
But it did extremely well
in Scotland
over there
or in the UK probably.
Yep. Over here, Scotch is not king.
Right. That's the thing. In America, any kind of a smoke note generally comes out to I love it or I hate it. There's not casual smoky whiskey drinkers.
But that goes the same with barbecue. People like Memphis, Nashville. Yeah. When you get down to Texas, you get more of the mesquite. People are like, ooh, yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, again, I was not a Scotch fan a couple of years ago, but I feel like this was. You've never had it. So
I've never had it. I'm coming to this with eyes wide shut, open, whatever. But I'm initially thinking, oh, it's going to be similar to a Islay, and it is, but it's not. So
It has
there is a
hint
smoke
of a
note.
Lefroy.
There's smoke is the primary note by all means.
All right, I'm just gonna dive right.
You're just going, okay. But there's some sweet notes, more like sweet woods. So like that cherry wood, if they smoked it using cherry wood, I almost get that, like the cherry wood barbecue type idea. I can get there.
Okay, it's better.
It's not better. You changed. That's my point.
I enjoy the palate more than the nose on this one.
Okay. Now I have to have my sip. All right, ready? Here's my thoughts.
Okay.
The nose, the smoke, almost, I get a little bit of burnt rubber. There's the nose smoke is a little off-putting, but there is notes of a smoky cherry wood, something along those lines.
Burnt rubber.
I got a little burnt rubber. It's really weird. The palate's really nice, actually. I enjoy the palate.
The palate's much better than the nose, for sure.
I enjoy that. The nose is not great, but on the palate, for me, there's a touch of smoke. I'm going to say there's a little bit of a mint, maybe like an antiseptic type tingle that comes through. So it's got some of those medicinal notes that some of the Islays have.
Yeah, very much so.
But it's not briny. That's the biggest weird difference, I guess. I don't get a super saltwater brine note that I'm used to from an Islay.
The nose or the taste.
Right.
The nose is Band-Aid.
Very little. I don't get that super medicinal thing. I think that's because it's more sitting around a fireplace, charred wood, because there's wood used, not just peat. I kind of feel like that's what's the difference here.
All right, so I happened in the tasting room, and at one point you could get the full flight, you could do the tour. So now I'm interested, and they have a full cocktail menu with just their spirits.
Own spirits.
So now that they've
Just have 4.
consolidated their
Yeah.
lineup, I'm actually curious to see what their cocktail lineup is now. It's a nice little atmosphere because it's in an old. It's called Marathon Motorworks, so it's an old car plant, and you can still see all of the overhead belts and everything else. Like it's a cool building, and you got the Tennessee Moonshine.
Yeah, the Tennessee Legends.
Tennessee Legends is in there, and then at the very end you got Nelson's Greenbrier, another local. So
and then there's a bunch of little it's like a bunch of little shops. There's a Harley Davidson shop. There's the American Pickers place, whatever that's called. I can't think of that.
It's a nice little building. It's a historic building. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very cool place. The weird parts. All right, so we know it's an American single malt. So it's all malted barley. Aged 1 year. And apparently, or historically, it's usually closer to 7 months. I don't really know why they're aging it for such a short amount of time. Would the smoke accelerate? Or would it...
Mask something.
Yeah, I don't know. Find that odd.
I'm going to go with masking.
1 year. 1 year seems odd. But 100% malted barley, they do their own distillation. They own the whole process. It is just them. So...
Oh, the logo, though. The Reservoir Dog.
Yeah, they got the three cool guys hanging out, walking along. That is what Corsair is known for. That label.
I want to say the shape of the bottle too. I don't know.
It's a little different. It kind of comes out almost like a shaker, a little bit.
Yep.
And I'm gonna plead ignorance. It's also got 25, 50, 75. Like when it gets to 50, order a new one. Gets to 25, order. Like, is that what they're going for? I'm not sure why they put percentages on the side.
It's just a little different.
A little different. And it is. And everything about it is. Yeah, the nose is not spectacular. The palate's pretty good. All right, let's see what happens with the water. You've been waiting. I've been talking.
Yeah, I'm anxious. Because I've been anxious all day to do this bottle.
I know. I just knew it wasn't going to be as bad as you remember just because.
Hey, you need to tell everyone how you got the bottle.
Ah, yes. Well, so this year in our neighborhood fantasy football tournament, I came in 4th place, which I got 1 bottle of whiskey. We all put it in a bottle of whiskey, and as 4th place, I get 1 bottle. So that is how I got this bottle, it was basically nobody else wanted it, so I got it. I still get a minty note.
Oh, I don't get it.
I want to say mint, but then I'm like, oh, maybe it's like an astringent, like a aspartame, not aspartame,
Antiseptic.
sugar. Yes, antiseptic, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to say I get a little mint.
My complete opinion on this now is just it's the full American play on a Scotch.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's an American Islay, or it's trying to recreate an Islay. It didn't quite get to an Islay.
And it's 80 proof, so that would
it definitely plays in that.
But
it didn't quite get there because I don't get the seawater impact that I.
So I'd be interested now that knowing that this is their number 1 seller, and they openly admit that this does really well over in the UK. I'd be curious to go to a bar and you just throw out a couple, and I would love to hear the reaction.
This versus
how does it stand up? How does that stand up
to a basic Lefroy or Arbet or a Lagavulin or something like that?
Blind. Actually, even better.
So my argument is going to be 1. It doesn't stand up to a Port Charlotte.
I think there's too much mesquite. I'm getting more mesquite.
There's more of a wood burnt note, like a charcoal note, than there is a peat note to it. It's different. I can't say mesquite, but it's different. There is definitely a different smoked wood note versus the peat moss note.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be a really nice float in an old fashioned.
Which we started doing lately. That's the twist.
Yeah. Yeah. So bartender, I don't know if he's watching because I did talk to him about the channel, but there's a bartender in the Orlando airport who we were talking about smoky whiskeys, Irish, like a smoky, like an Islay type whiskey. And he was just like, oh, I like to take about a half an ounce, make my old fashioned, like a regular old fashioned, and then take a half an ounce and pour that in there. Instead of getting like a wood smoking kit or smoking the glass or any of that other stuff, he's like, I just put that in there and it adds a smoky note to the old fashioned. And I was like, that's an interesting idea. And then never did it because I was in Orlando in July. Never did it. And then, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, somebody was making an old fashioned. I was like, I got an idea. And I grabbed a bottle of Ardbeg Wee Beastie, dropped that in there. It's really good. This would be better. That was really good. So now I actually have that is an affordable, smoky single malt. Yeah, that's going to be my float from now. $50. Not a great value.
No.
Aged 1 year. 80 proof. Well, this is 1 year. It actually says 1 year. Okay. They wrote it on there. Handwritten, actually. Look at that. Handwritten, 1 year. This is batch number.
It's a small
30.
operation. I mean, based on the
it's not a big
room.
Well, I mean, that's not 30. Okay, that's 361. But still, they've been around for 14 years, right? 2008 is when they started up in Kentucky.
So they all are experimenting, and they basically narrowed it down.
Yeah, right. These sell better.
So if you had 30 different bottles, these are the
SKUs that worked, or the product that worked.
Well, it was probably, this is what's moving on the shelves.
Right.
This one does really well here, and they've got an international market that enjoys it. So that one's going to stay.
Right.
I mean, I'm just really curious because it was just, it's a rye.
Right. No bourbons, no whiskeys.
The quinoa, it's weird to say, but they have a quinoa one that was really, really good.
They had
Yeah, no, there's got to be liquor stores in this town that still have it. We'll find it.
No idea.
I'm not going to find the rest of them, but
That is nowhere near as bad as you kept saying it was going to be. That's why when I was told that this was the whiskey that I was going to win.
left over with.
Yeah, leftover. That this was what was left over for me to win, to claim as my prize. I was like, this is not nearly as bad as you trumped it up to be in your brain. So
Again,
I want to
wasn't
say
a Scotch person.
we're 3 for 3.
Sure.
Okay.
But again, I wasn't.
You would drink
Scotch
this
person.
again
I would, especially floating
as a float. As a float is totally that's a great float. But you would drink this again
But I think
versus
this would be an interesting blind.
with other
Like an Islay.
80 proof Islays.
Yeah.
I think you'd need to keep the proof closed. 'Cause you couldn't do this to a
Not
Port
so much
Charlotte.
here because we don't have any friends that enjoy that. I really want to go over there and do that. And
Okay.
I want it to be. I want to be an episode.
Okay.
Can our channel afford that?
No. Beings as we have no income, no.
All right. Well, maybe we just self-fund that one.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a very interesting episode to be at a bar.
Bringing a bottle of Corsairs to Islay.
Find 6 locals. No, actually do 5. We need an odd number. And it's a blind taste. 2 local,
regular Islays
and that. Yeah, I'm curious
Rank 'em.
because they're very proud that this competes over there.
But does it?
Yeah, exactly.
To me, it doesn't. It tastes different.
It's different. It's different.
There's a difference to
I'm
it.
curious to see how it stands up.
But maybe that
But maybe over there, like they are so
sweet
used
wood?
to
No?
that
briny
briny peaty that
Yeah.
like this is a
premium smokiness.
palate cleanser.
Yes, Corsairs is a palate cleanser in between your super briny peaty whiskeys.
We're gonna give you the mesquite.
Okay.
We'll see. We're gonna make it over there at some point
At some point.
once COVID ends.
Yes.
So, well, we appreciate you joining. I wish we had the full lineup because they did have some tasty whiskeys. Did. And again, that quinoa sounds weird, but it was good. It was good. I think it was called Campfire. We'll see if we can track down. There's going to be bottles that are still available, so
I'm
we'll see. Well, we hope you enjoyed this review. If you are like me, that was very, very gun shy on
Smoky whiskeys.
smoky whiskeys. Like it is. Now that my palate is matured, it's way more palatable.
Yeah.
Way more palatable. So, well, we hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, we encourage you to hit the like button at the bottom of the screen.
And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hit the bell icon. Let us know if you've tried this or any other Corsairs. Any of the ones that just don't exist anymore, or I guess the dark rye is the only other one that they currently do now that's a whiskey. Either way, let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for joining.
See you on the next episode.
Cheers.